Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
Hello, everybody. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I have an update for you on storms that continue in north-central North Dakota. We have a severe thunderstorm watch for portions of the Devil's Lake Basin in northeast North Dakota. Wells County, you're also included in that, and we'll get that radar up here right now so you can see the very latest. A couple of things to note. The yellow that you see here, that's the severe thunderstorm watch. That is in effect until the midnight hour. We do have active thunderstorm warnings in these orange boxes here. Here's one up in Bottineau County. Here's another one as a storm approaching Rugby is capable of some hail. By the way, these little circles here are indicative of 1+ inch hail estimated by the Doppler radar as being possible, not necessarily what's hitting the ground right now. Now, as you take a look at the storm cell that's making its way right now into Rugby, this is on the Highway 2 corridor. This is west of Devil's Lake, and it's on its way in that general direction to Benson County, Ramsey County, as those dark clouds and very heavy rain making their way through. The Rugby storm, here is a look at the latest movement with it, moving southeast at 31 miles per hour. Estimates of hail size upwards of 1¼ inch diameter hail from this. A little bit earlier, there was a cell here that was possibly capable of up to as much as 3 inches. And here you go, this West Hope storm here. See the 3 by it? 33 mile per hour movement with this storm, and the information on this is going to have your eyes widen open just a little bit. Hail probability 100% and 3.25 inch diameter hail potential from the storm. The maximum reflectivity here, that's a number, how much energy was returned to the radar from the pulse that was transmitted by the radar, and it's quite high. So this storm here capable of nasty hail just north and to the east of Max Bass, moving towards the Kramer area. So these cells are on their way into the area of western parts of Benson County now. So if you're in Leeds or if you're in Maddock, these storms are fairly slow movers. Let me show you the loop of radar data here. And you can see that they're on this track as they move to the south and east. The air masses here in the eastern third of North Dakota, very, very soggy indeed. Now, someone's asking, will Bismarck get anything tonight? Here's what Hutch can say. As we take a look out to the west of you in Bismarck, there are some storms now moving out of the big sky country of Montana, heading right down the Highway 2 corridor here, just off to the east of Williston. So Tioga, Stanley, strong to severe thunderstorms there. We're talking wind gust potential to 70 mile per hour or more. We can't rule out a tornado, but that's not our number one concern tonight. And as you've already seen, the up energy is high. That means hail that could be very large will be possible with these storms. Now, will they last until they make their way into Bismarck? You're not in the watch in Bismarck, Mandan. You are not in the watch in northern parts of Burleigh County. But as you get into Oliver County here for center, you folks there are Washburn, the burn on 83. You have a chance for some severe storms tonight. These storms could indeed be severe as we make our way into the overnight hours, but the main threat overnight will fall away from this large hail potential, although we could see some sizable hail, and it will become more of a wind event as we go through the late night hours. That's the latest thinking. Now let me get you to a little bit of a tune-up here on where this storm is heading. We'll pause it on the latest scan here right there. All right, now as I move this forward, it's moving this general direction. We're going to pop that puppy in at about 28 miles per hour to the south-southeast. That storm will be in Rugby in 11 minutes. Now, you already have stormy activity in Rugby, right? But the hail core, and there's that little bit of what we call a hook echo there with that particular storm. That's working its way in towards the Fillmore area by around 43 minutes from now. And as you can see here, 8:52 is that time of the radar scan. That's the most recent radar scan. Your present time, 8:56. So in about 11 minutes, that storm will be in and on top of the Rugby area. Now, check out the storm that has a 3-inch diameter hail. That one had a little bit stronger rate of movement, about 35 miles per hour. Let's time that puppy out with that hail core moving in this general direction. We're going to do 35 miles per hour. We're going to estimate that it will be in Newburgh in about 8 minutes. It will be in Kramer in about 23 minutes. And on towards the Upham area by around 29 minutes from right now. So that storm remains to be quite large with its hail. Now, what about the spin or rotation? As we take a look at the velocity products here from the radar at Deering in the Minot area, we do not see a bunch of strong indications of rotation. There is some in this Rugby storm, but it's very weak. And there it goes. It's all, I can't say it's not there, but it's certainly not the most dangerous aspect of the particular storm moving its way through that area. As we look at this storm with the huge hail potential with it, these have huge cloud top heights. These cloud top heights are quite high in the atmosphere, and you can imagine the strength of the upward moving air in this storm to support 3-inch hailstones up in it. So let's take a look here as we turn on the crosshairs here. And this thunderstorm's top is around 45 to 50,000 feet, estimated by the Doppler radar. The storm farther to the south and east here, not far from the Rugby area, also over 40,000 feet. And the one in Rugby right now that's moving through is about 42,000 feet. Look at what's coming out of Montana and out of the oil patch, Ray. This is a 56,000 foot towering cumulonimbus cloud and could possibly be viewed from well over 150 miles away. In Minot, you're probably seeing that towering what looks like a anvil cloud building out to the west of you. That is moving toward the Lake Sakakawea area, so you folks out on the lakes need to be advised. These storms are a long ways away from the FM area. Let's take a look now. Let me see if I've got any questions here. We're going to do two things. Hi, crazy last night in Henning and in Vining area, weather, hurricane type weather. You know, when we get wind gusts over 74 mile per hour, that is hurricane strike. You see that number 2 right there? That means the hail size coming down just a bit on that Bottineau County storm as we continue to discuss our weather. Look at that 90-degree temperature right now. That's at New Salem, Sioux. Or is that Glen Olin? Yeah, that's Glen Olin. So Glen Olin, 90 degrees right now. Bismarck, 86 degrees, 84 in the Fargo area, 83 out at the Emerado area. It's still a hot evening out there as we head into the evening hours. Let's take a look at a couple of things. You guys are all correct. These storms have been terrible. They have been strong. And is Maddock in the line? Steve, it's going to be really close to the Maddock area as we take a look at this storm moving out of Rugby here. Here's Maddock down here, and that storm is going to skirt that way. But this whole cluster of storms will generally be moving in our direction. I promise you we're going to look at that forecast here momentarily. Right now, what I want to do is throw a big pat your back and appreciation from my part to your part for using hutchesweather.com. I am getting a huge amount of photos that you're sharing with me on Hutch's Weather. Let me take you to the webpage now. And I do want to share with you that if you haven't heard, I have launched a web page in the last few days. Here is a look at that website, and we'll go ahead and scroll up to the top here. You're going to see that on Hutch's Weather, you can, number one, sign up in this top banner box right here by just typing your email in here. So you would type in your email and just hit sign up. And we are working on the functionality of sending out alerts to your email box. I will not sell the email list. I will not sell your information to anybody. I am literally only going to use it judiciously to inform you of important events. Maybe tonight or other nights when I'm covering severe weather, I'll let you know that I'm going live. And that way you'll have a heads up. That way you know, because Facebook doesn't always alert everybody that Hutch is going live. Thanks to my fine sponsors, these three have stepped up and said, we want to be a part of Hutch's Weather. And if you're a business in town or no one in town, let them know Hutch's Weather has a great way to get the word out to all you good people. And I appreciate you sponsoring my businesses here. In fact, if you've had tree damage from storms, Slim's Tree Care is the person to call in the FM area. And basically, you can click on these and find out more information about Slim's Tree Care, for instance, here. Look at this, 25 years experience, and look at him up there. He is basically specialized in tree climbing work. Slim can get the job done. And look at that, controlling the tree's descent and making sure everybody and everything stays safe. He's certified, he's bonded, he's insured, he's track or tree risk assessment qualified. So again, that's Slim's tree care service. So here's the photos, and I do want to share these with you. As you go down to the bottom of the page, you can see my latest videos, including what's going on right now. This live update will be live on the webpage right now. And you can also click on this Your Photos button here, and boom, shaka laka. Now, we take a look at some of these photos that folks have sent in here since last night's storms. And check this out. Look at the Mamadas clouds. But there was some significant damage out here in Lakes Country, west Leaf Lake. Kelly, I'm really sorry for the damage that was sustained here, but the dock and the pontoon both toppled in the lake there. That's just terrible damage from those severe and windy storms that moved through Otter Tail County last night. And look at this. Portage Lake, Otter Tail County. Holly, thank you. And once again, look at the force of the wind. And this is one of the reasons why we tell you that a camper, a mobile home, or manufactured home is not safe during tornado winds. These were straight line winds in all likelihood, although there were some tornadoes in the region last night, and the National Weather Service will assess this data. And it's important that they know that this photo of yours exists, Holly. So I pass along to the National Weather Service information that we've received photos from you about damage on Portage Lake. So these kind of winds can exceed 60, 70 miles per hour, and that can topple your campers. So it's really important if you're going through the overnight tonight and you're out in the Devil's Lake Basin or at any lakes, to heed warnings as they're issued. Have a plan, stay informed, and if a warning is issued for wind, like there will be tonight and like there was last night, know where you can go to seek shelter. Carlos, what a beautiful shot here. And check out this video that was shared by Devin. This Otter Tail storm. This shows you Otter Tail County. See these low-hanging clouds at the bottom here? Let me scoot this up. My apologies. Carlos capturing this. See those low-hanging clouds underneath the storm? Some of those are called scud. They're storms condensing clouds and water vapor as it rises up into the base of the storm. But look at to the far left over there. That looks like a tree maybe in the way over there. But some of those clouds were lowering cloud bases called wall clouds, and that is in the updraft part of the storm, and that's typically where tornadoes would form. If you are trained in weather observing, that's one of the things that you will learn. So Devin, thank you so very much for sharing your photos. All of you, thank you so very much. And check out what happened on West Lost Lake. Corey Marcourt, thank you so much. West Lost Lake, Minnesota. Let's press play on this and you can just see the night sky last night over Minnesota, the southern Red River Valley. As the sun sets, we're able to see the electricity in these clouds from a huge distance. And the rumble was just continuous from these storms. So thanks so very much. The modest clouds were exquisite photo shots there of all of that activity. Look at all these photos taken. And here is the tornado that did make contact in Richland County, and the National Weather Service will be doing a survey of this. This is Ashley's photo at mile marker 29 from I-29 in Richland County. You can see that one clearly in contact with the ground, clearly chunking up debris along the edge of that storm. Okay, so again, a huge thank you to all of you who have taken the time to upload your photos. Please continue to do so. It does help us help you stay ahead of the storms as they work their way to the south and to the east. So we showed you the storms. Now let's talk about the forecast real quickly. And I'm going to look for your questions here. Thanks so very, very much for all of your stars and support of Hutch's Weather. Honestly, it's the support that you've given Hutch over all of these months that helps me continue to bring advancements like www.hutchesweather.com that you see right up here. Go visit it. Frequent it. If you didn't catch a live event on Facebook, you'll see the latest videos there. You saw the video section, and we'll continue to make improvements based on your suggestions right here. So go ahead and drop those in as well. Let's see. I'm looking to see how far east will these storms be coming. We're addressing that right now. Your forecast is straight ahead. Thanks so much for watching from Plumber Cindy. Here's a look at the forecast on the hour-by-hour style model. This is going to be one of the latest model runs here, so we'll go ahead and look at this. Now, as we do take a look at models, I'll show you a couple, not to confuse you, but just to show you what us meteorologists are looking at when we observe these models. This one, I'm going to go back 1 hour because this one will be a longer run, and it'll have more, let's just call it robust data that goes into it. Now, as we set this into motion, the storms that are in the Bottineau area, look at these kind of explode a little bit as they get into this hot, juicy, muggy air with temperatures near 90 degrees. So yes, if you're in Oliver County near Center, Hazen, Beulah, and Bismarck-Mandan, there'll be a chance of some storms there. Nothing here in the valley. The time here is 6Z. You subtract 5 hours from 6Z because Z is the time in Greenwich, Europe. That's 1 a.m. So it's 1 a.m., still not raining for most of us here in the valley, but the Devil's Lake Basin likely will be having some showers and storms. Now, the current watch is set to expire at midnight, but these storms still will be clustering, and each of these individual clusters could produce isolated storms with some very gusty wind. That's my thought on this, and I believe that's what the discussion has been amongst those at the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center. These will be crossing over into northwest Minnesota and through the Red River Valley as we go through the wee hours of the morning. 9 minus 5, 4 a.m. So if you're awakened by rumbles of thunder, I'll keep my eyes on things overnight tonight. I'm back in my office studio here. I've got all my tools in the toolbox ready to go. They're cleaned, they're sharpened, and they're buzzing away. The batteries are charged. Low pressure moves right here into the Southern Valley. This area is extremely juicy and extremely buoyant, and there's going to be some energy. And these storms will come with some energy from the upper atmosphere too that will help drive them and sustain them through the overnight hours. Here we're looking at daybreak as those storms will be blasting through Lakes Country, Alexandria, down here into the Lake Traverse area, and then out towards southern Minnesota and the I-90 corridor as we go towards, well, about 9 a.m. So these storms should be exiting. Tomorrow we'll have hit and miss showers mainly in northern Minnesota, and there could be some significant rain with these storms. When will it hit Otter Tail County? Pardon me. Jason, let's go back and look. You can see Otter Tail County is right here. It's the big box. There's Becker County right above it. So as we back up, boom, there they are. According to this model, they will be moving into Lakes Country, Becker, Otter Tail, Cass, all of these lakes area counties as we go into 5 a.m. So 3 to 5 a.m. will be the best chance for some storms the way this model shows. Now let's take a look at one more model again, not to confuse you, just to use some models that have been doing well lately. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one, see how it's starting out. This one's just starting out here. So look at this. This model is brand new. It's just now coming in. And it says that as we approach midnight, this line expands. It has this backward C shape, and it's called a bowing line segment. Very windy, very gusty wind potential with these storms as they blow through. Moving in at about 2 a.m. to the Red River Valley counties and the James River Valley counties, kind of lagging and sagging out to the west, just a little bit in the Southern Valley. So that's a look at the storms there. This is all the farther this model is out yet, so that's still coming in as we speak. Here's another model. Let's take a look at if it's starting out real good. Has the storms out there not far from Bismarck, has some blowing up near Bismarck and moving through Bismarck, and it has this cluster of storms forming here, a cluster down here, another cluster moving out of the big sky country of Montana as we go into motion here. Here we go, subtract 9, this is 4 a.m., moving in through Grand Forks and points north. This model says Fargo not going to see anything. Bottom line, with all of these storms, see that? Maybe Fargo gets a dance as we go into the mid-morning, that would be early morning hours there as we start our day at around 5, 6 a.m. Okay, so all models show hit and miss shower chances. Not one model does a consistent job every time of picking where the storms form and their exact path. We can't do that. We don't have the skill to do that. But what we do know, the atmosphere is juiced. All the ingredients are there to make a fine recipe for severe weather tonight, including gusty winds, large hail, and an isolated tornado. Overnight, the tornado risk goes down even farther, but the wind and the hail potential will likely remain into the wee hours of the morning. So that's a look at your forecast. I do want to pass along to you what you need to know with regards to the forecast. We're going to start with a look at the rainfall potential with tonight's storms as we go into tomorrow mid-morning. Some of you have already gotten hit really hard. I have been through, and if you take pictures of your crops and want to post them to hutchesweather.com, we feel you, producers, because I was just driving across northwest Minnesota, and a couple of weeks ago we had one heck of a nasty storm just obliterate fields down there in parts of Polk and Norman County, not far from Gary. Those storms were just nasty with hail. They stripped the fields clean. There's not corn left. The grains are shot. The beans are done. Last night's storms, I went through the Felton area. Felton got hit hard last night, and I'm telling you, the grain is laid flat. So those storms last night did some damage to some crops in and around parts of west central Minnesota and northwest Minnesota as well. Here's a look at the rainfall potential with the storms as we go through the overnight hours. Let's see, where are they? Okay, here we go. So as we take a look at the rainfall amounts, most models are showing that the best chance of the significant rain will be up here in the Devil's Lake Basin through Grand Forks and into the northern reaches of Lakes Country, Becker County, Norman County, Oliver County, not Oliver, Norman County, as well as Monoman County and Polk County. Some of you could see over an inch under those gully washing storms. Now, this model has a little break in Fargo. That's not necessarily how it will pan out here. It just depends on the track of those individual thunderstorms. So we know that the potential, what this map tells us is wherever those storms roam, and this looks to be pretty close to where we're seeing them, over an inch, in fact, over 2 inches will be possible in a few places. And as we go into Lakes Country, it looks like many of us will see a few tenths of an inch and some over 1/2 of an inch. What's the Cape at around Fargo right now? Well, the Cape, or convective atmospheric potential energy, as we take a look at that, let's go ahead and see what we got here for Cape. I'm going to look at a modeled Cape here real quick, if you don't mind. So let's go. I'll bring you along with me. We'll go to some model guidance here. We'll go to the hourly, showing you the energy for buoyancy in the atmosphere, the rising air. How fast will it rise? So let's see if we can find some, let's see here. Velocity. Okay, there we go. Here we go. All right, so now as we take a look at the time frame of about now 9 o'clock, you can see just north of town, the little red spot there. That's where there'll be a little bit more energy available in the atmosphere, but we're talking 3,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram of dry air. That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of buoyancy out there. So you could see out west where these storms are really firing, we have 4,000 to 5,000 joules of Cape. And we did have some huge hail potential from these cells up here, but the model's not showing that. Okay, so this model is not maybe showing the Cape where we're getting those storms forming right here near Rugby in the Bottineau area. So just suffice it to say that with the heat and the moisture in the atmosphere today, we'll have energy in spots upwards of 4,000 to 5,000 joules per kilogram. What is meant by that? It's joules per kilogram is a measure of the buoyancy in the atmosphere. Joules is a measure of energy. Kilogram is a measure of the mass of the air. So that's how much energy there is to lift air in the atmosphere. And I can tell you that's an awful lot. So as we look down south into Omaha, we got some numbers there that are over 5,000. And this is very juicy, humid air as well. So that's just an idea there for you there. So I hope that answers your question. Let me go back and see what else we got here for a question. I think that does it. If we take a look at this, we can also look at if there is spin in the atmosphere tonight. And I'll go ahead and put that modeled amount up here. And we'll look at something called the significant tornado parameter. And this is right now. And as we take a look around, oopsie, I must have pushed another button here. As we take a look around, you're seeing some of this gray shading here. And where there's some blue shading, there is a little bit more spin where we see the blue shading in the atmosphere, which would put that tornado parameter at a 1-ish, okay? And as we set this into motion tonight, we'll notice that, well, we don't see too many hot spots in our particular area, and then it goes away pretty quickly, okay? So not a huge amount of energy in the atmosphere available for that. Well, let me go back a model run here. We'll let that load up. There we go. So our tornado risk tonight is on the lower side of things as compared to last night. And even as we look down into the southern parts of the United States down here, we can see that maybe around Chicago, there's going to be a little bit more in the way of some interesting Pedro's having some fun with me right back behind me here. So yeah, that's it. So we've got some rainfall that's going to be making its way through the region. Let's take a look at your forecast numbers for the 7-day planner real quick. And I will let you know, I'll be here tonight should any storms fire up or fester up. If they're bad, I'll let you know. And remember, I've got hutchesweather.com to keep you up to date with the latest anytime, anywhere. All right, here's your numbers for the forecast period. It looks like we're going to see a high of around 80 tomorrow. There'll be some morning showers and storms that will be exiting off to the east. The timing for Fargo is after about 3 or 4 in the morning. They'll move through mid-morning and be out of here by around 9 to 10 a.m. By out of here, I mean out of central Minnesota as well. Thanks, Travis. I sure appreciate your kind words. Thanks, Rex. I appreciate your kind words as well. Notice temperatures cool off in a big way as we go through the middle of the week. We still will have isolated shower chances in the forecast. And then as we head into the late week, we start warming it back up again. We're talking 80 to 90 degrees Thursday through Sunday. Typical warm. And it looks like overall dry, folks, even though you see a couple of thunderstorms out there. Just spotty thunderstorm chances is how things are looking. So for now, Hutch is going to take a break. I'm going to rest up. And if things get a little wild tonight, I'll be here to cover the storms for you. Otherwise, have a plan if you're in the watch area in the Devil's Lake Basin for those storms. I'll take a look at that latest radar scan here so you can see the latest as we're closing up this broadcast right here. Let me turn off the crosshairs. You can see that the radar is showing that we do have oh my goodness, look at this puppy near town. Or do you see the blue pixels in here? That's some pretty heavy duty hail potential with that cell working its way into the Rugby area right now. So let me see, let me get this up here. That's a big stout puppy looking in there. By the way, those blue pixels showed up from the Mayville radar. It's pointing at a higher position in the sky. So the hailstones on this are likely quite high. Let's see what it looks like if we go with a 3D volumetric view. We'll just take a slice. Okay, there we go. And now let's go in just a little bit. Is this cool? Oh, it's right over my head. I'm gonna lose my head here. We're gonna slide into this storm right here. And now you're looking at the different scan levels of the storm. So you see that? So as we're going into the Deering radar, here's some storms out over here. We can kind of spin around and see that there is a hail core that is elevated way off the ground right here over that storm. That's the one that is not far from the Deering radar site that we were just looking at. So what does that mean? That means that the radar is seeing these big ice type meteors in the sky or targets in the sky, and they're well off the ground right now. So that means that the pink that you see on a radar doesn't always mean that's what's falling and hitting the ground right now. It's showing us what's in the cloud. That is some pretty big hail. Let me see if I can do a little bit of a smoothing on this by filtering out some of the lower reflectivities off of this display, and we're only going to look at the ones that look like they might be more haily, and then we can actually see the hail cores. Sound like fun? Okay, good. I kind of thought so. All right, here we go. So here's your storm that's over that area near Deering. And we're looking at it right now. And that little pink core that you see right up above the ground, that's the hail core up there. So, and you can actually kind of get a feel for these storms. And there's another hail core that's way up top here near the top of the cloud. So that updraft is so strong that some of the largest hailstones are being lofted way up toward the top of the cloud. These ones now you can see that we must be getting another scan in, and there's some more pink that's closer to the ground now. So the hail is getting ready, or it's fixing to make its way on down to the ground. So that's kind of cool, isn't it? I mean, it's always fun to look at these different meteorological things. I hope you enjoy it. I know that I can go on and on a little bit about this stuff, but that's some of the tools that Hutch has here to keep his eyes on the skies. And it's right here for you. And again, we have a severe thunderstorm watch until the midnight hour. We have severe thunderstorm warnings that are approaching the Devil's Lake Basin right now. There is a special statement from the National Weather Service out here. This is in the area of around the Devil's Lake Basin. So Benson County. So these storms west on Highway 2, they're west of the Rugby area right now. They're moving towards Rugby with large hail potential. Right now, that cell that's just right here moving towards Rugby looks like the heaviest of the hail will be moving close to you, but just off to the west. This is the biggest hail producing storm right now that has some hail lofted well up into the atmosphere. That puppy is very strong right now, moving out of the warned area for that Bottineau County cell. So that's what's going on there. Out to the west, we have some powerful and potent storms moving right into the Newtown area as we speak. We're getting ready to get busy on Lake Kakawea right now as those storms are working their way south of the Highway 2 corridor. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. It is a pleasure to have you on board. Once again, announcing my exciting launch of hutchesweather.com. You've been seeing this since day one. It's been in work since day one, and it's finally there for you to keep you informed of what's going on. So head on over to hutchesweather.com and check it out. You can scan these with your phone. I'll just leave this on for just a moment. And then you can basically go link, save, or bookmark any of these sites here. And if you do happen to go to the YouTube or Facebook page, please give me a follow on the Facebook page, and a subscription on the YouTube channel. It helps me a great deal. We'll talk again a little later tonight as the storms make their way our way.